Hey guys, how's it going? It's Trieyx here. We're back with a Genshin Impact video. Okay, so in today's video, I kind of want to talk about how to build the proper team in Genshin Impact. So, yeah, I'm not really the smartest person in this game. Like, I'm kind of a noob. So there's probably some things I don't really know when it comes to building a team. But for the most part, if you play this game as long as I have, like I've been playing this game since the game first released, you kind of pick up on some things. And I kind of want to share what I learned from the 1 year I've been playing this game to you guys when it comes to building a team in Genshin Impact. So yeah, this video is not really going to be too in-depth. It's kind of like a beginner's guide or a noob's guide, kind of like a starting video for new players. And yeah, there's no better person to make a noob's guide than I am, because I'm a complete noob of this game. So there's no better person to give some noob advice than from a complete noob like me. So yeah, that's why that was perfect for the job. Alright, so anyway, like I started, so let me go into my party setting really quick. Alright, so one of the biggest things when it comes to building a team is synergy. So you kind of want characters that really work well with each other. So the team I'm running right here, my Traveler, my Raiden, Hu Tao, and Jean, they generally work really well together because Raiden has a skill where you can basically do some electro attacks when you're attacking normally. So having that skill paired with Hu Tao's skill, as well as my Traveler skill, like it works really well. So this is a team I run whenever I just do some like stuff on the overworld and do some events or whatever. So this is not the perfect team, but it works. And one of the main reasons why this team works is because this game has something called reactions. So there's a whole bunch of different type of reactions in this game when it comes to like mixing elements together. So when I use Raiden's skill and I use Hu Tao, it does an overload reaction, and that makes my Hu Tao's attacks do a little bit more damage than usual. So yeah, when it comes to this game, one of the biggest things you want to remember when building a team is reactions. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of different combinations of teams you guys can build, but before I get to that, I kind of want to explain the elemental resonance. So right here, you guys press R3, or I'm not sure what it is in PC, but you guys will see in the bottom of the screen it says elemental resonance. So if I press that, it basically shows you guys the buff you get when you pair two characters with the same element together, or if you have 4 unique elements in one team. So right here, I have a rainbow team. So I have a geo element character, I have an electro character, I have a pyro character, and I have an animal character. So right now I have the any 4 unique element activated. Right there, you guys see the check mark. So basically, since I have 4 unique elements on my team, I get all elemental resistance plus 15%, and I have physical resistance plus 15% as well. So yeah, right there, that's basically the buff I get for running a rainbow team. The buff in itself of running a rainbow team isn't really that great, but nevertheless it's still a buff. And for the next element, if you run 2 pyro characters together, you guys get a buff called Fervent Flames, but basically meaning that you get affected by cryo for 40% less time, meaning like when you get affected by cryo, you kind of move a little bit slower. So with this buff, it decreases the duration of the cryo affliction by 40% less time, and not only that, but increases your overall party's attack by 25%. So yeah, in my opinion, that's one of the best buffs you can get when pairing 2 characters of the same element together. So that's a pyro buff. The next one is Soothing Waters, and that's for the water elements. So if you pair 2 water element characters together, you basically get affected by pyro for 40% less time. It's the same thing as the Fervent Flames, but instead this time it's with pyro. And when it comes to pyro, you kind of get burned, so you get 40% less time of being burned. It also increases your healing by 30%. So that buff is really good when it comes to healing for your team. So that's what you get when you pair 2 water element characters together. The next one is Impetuous Wind. So this is when you pair 2 animal characters together. So what the buff does, it basically decreases your stamina consumption by 15%, increases movement speed by 10%, and shortens your skill cooldown by 5%. So yeah, it's pretty good, but nothing too crazy. So yeah, that's for the animal. So next one, if you pair 2 electro characters together, you get something called High Voltage. So for the buff, you get affected by Hydro for 40% less time, Superconduct, Overloaded, and Electro Charge, which are the reactions, and you get a 100% chance of generating an electro elemental particle. It's the things you need to charge up your elemental burst, and elemental burst is your ultimate attack. Yeah, it's really good when you're trying to just spam the elemental burst, but yeah, it does have a cooldown of 5 seconds, so you can't really continuously get electro elemental particles really quickly. There is a cooldown for that. It'd be easily abused if you guys don't have a cooldown. So yeah, next one is the cryo buff. So if you guys have 2 cryo characters in one team, you get something called Shattering Ice, which means you get affected by electro for 40% less time, and increases your crit rate against opponents that are frozen or affected by cryo by 15%. So this is actually really good. If on par with the pyro buff, these two in my opinion are the 2 best elemental resonance when it comes to building a team. So what it means is that if you freeze an enemy, or you guys afflict an enemy with a cryo debuff, it increases your crit rate by 15%. And for the last one, if you pair 2 geo characters together, you get something called Enduring Rock, which increases your shield strength by 15%. And also, if you have a character with a shield, it increases your damage by 15%. And when you deal damage to an enemy, it decreases their geo resistance by 20% for 15 seconds. So that one's also really good as well. So yeah, these are the buffs you get when you're pairing two characters of the same element together. The max limit is only 2. I don't think you get any more buffs if you guys pair more characters of the same element together. I think it's only 2, so I'll show you guys right over here. So if I switch out G and I put in Duluc, for example, and I click on Elemental Resonance, you guys see right here, now the Fervent Flames is activated. So right there, I have 2 pyro characters together, I have this activated. So if I switch out my Traveler and I put in, let's see, Electro character, Sar right here, right? So right there, I have 2 of the buffs activated. And if I try to put a team with all pyro characters, it doesn't really do anything else. It basically has the same thing, like only the Fervent Flames is activated and nothing else increases. So I kind of think that it doesn't really increase the buffs, but I guess it'd be kind of OP if they kind of did that. So if you guys want to build a team based off of Elemental Resonance, you guys want to have 2 characters of the same element, and you guys want to have, I guess, 2 different elements. So that way you guys can get 2 buffs instead of 1. So what I would do if I wanted to take advantage of that, I would run 2 pyro characters, and then I'll probably run like, you know, 2 ice characters. That way I can take advantage of both these 2 really good buffs right here. And not only that, but Cryo and Pyro characters work really well together because they have a reaction called Melt. And like I said before, when it comes to reactions, for the most part, it increases your damage by a lot. Having characters that have elements that react to each other is definitely one of the ways to go when it comes to building a team. But yeah, I want to quickly summarize the reactions in this game. So if you guys use a Cryo attack and a Pyro attack, or vice versa, you guys get a reaction called Melt. If you have a Water character, you guys do a Water attack and then the Pyro attack, or vice versa, you guys get a reaction called Vaporize. If you guys do a Hydro attack and then a Cryo attack, it has a reaction called Freeze. And if you guys have a Electro character and a Pyro character, and if you guys do an Electro attack and then a Pyro attack, it calls it something called Overload. And if you guys do a Pyro attack and then a Animal attack, it calls it something called Swirl. And if you use an elemental skill for any element besides Animal, and then you use a Geo character, it does a reaction called Crystallize, and that basically generates a shield for your team. And last but not least, if you guys have a Electro character and then a Hydro character, and you guys do an Hydro attack and then a Electro attack, you guys will create a reaction called Electro Charge, and that basically does damage to the enemy over time. So I think that's all the reactions in this game. I could be wrong, but if I miss anything, definitely let me know. I don't remember all the reactions. Like, this video is not scripted, so I don't remember everything, but I think that's kind of all the reactions. And for the most part, when it comes to elemental reaction, you guys can use any of the elemental skills in any order. So you guys don't have to use a Hydro attack first and then Electro. You guys can do Electro first and then Hydro, and I think it'll still have the same effect. Could be wrong, but I think for the most part, you guys can do that. The only one I don't think you can do that is with the Geo elements, so you kind of have to afflict the character or the enemy with an element first before you guys can crystallize. See, I think that's the only reaction where you have to do the attacks in order. So yeah, could be wrong, but I think that's how it works. But like I said before, if you guys want to build a team based off of Elemental Resonance, you guys should run 2 characters of the same element together and have 2 different elements on your team. So something like this, for example, you guys can take advantage of 2 of the buffs. But something like this is kind of one team you guys can run in this game. Another team you guys can run is an all mono element team. So you guys are probably wondering, why would I run an all mono element team when I basically don't get any more buffs of running more characters of the same element? Well, even though you guys don't get any more buffs of running more characters of the same element, what's good about a mono team is that since all characters have the same element when it comes to elemental skill, their burst, and their attacks, it generates more elemental particles, which means you guys can use your burst quicker. So for example, if I attack with Yanfei, right, and then she does her pyro attacks, when she does her attacks, I get pyro elemental particles, and that particle charges up my entire party's elemental burst. That way I can quickly charge up my elemental burst and be able to use it a lot faster than if I were to run a rainbow team. So that's one of the main reasons why a mono element team is really good. So there's another type of team you guys can run. Like I said before, you guys can also run a rainbow team. For the most part, a rainbow element team can be good. It's just that you kind of have to pair characters that synergize well together. So yeah, Rainbow Element team is really not the greatest, but it's still doable and still possible. So if you guys want to run a Rainbow Element team, it's perfectly fine. For me, I like to run a Rainbow Element team because a lot of my favorite characters are of different elements. So, and since I want to run my favorite characters together in the same party, I kind of have a Rainbow Element team by default, and it still works. I do fine. I can generally beat all the world bosses and the events with the Rainbow Element team, so it's still doable, but it's not the best team you guys can run. For the most part, I will try to run a mono element team or pairing up 2 characters of the same element and running 2 elements on one team. You guys can do that instead. Like, those 2 teams are probably better off than a rainbow element team. But yeah, rainbow team still works, so if you guys want to run that, it's fine. But if you guys do run 2 elements on one team, I'll try to take advantage of the reactions when it comes to running those type of teams. As for example, I'll do something like this where I run 2 cryo characters together and then 2 pyro characters together. So yeah, that way I can do the whole melt reaction. Another thing I would do is try to do a electro team and a cryo team. That way I take advantage of the superconduct reaction. So yeah, when it comes to building these type of teams, like the 2 element teams, you basically want to have 2 elements that work really well together. So something like this will be okay as well. So yeah, that's one of the tricky things about building a 2 element team, is that. Another thing is the whole elemental resonance. So that's basically the basics when it comes to building a team. But once you get to the later stages of your Genshin career, I guess, you got to probably do some more advanced stuff. And what I mean by advanced stuff is that you start looking at character skills and trying to pair characters that have skills that works well with each other. So for example, a character like Bennett right over here, right? Bennett is one of the best characters in this game. What makes Bennett so good is that he has a skill called Fantastic Voyage. It basically creates a field where if a character has a 70% less health, it basically will continue to regenerate the health. But not only that, if a character has more than 70% health, they get a buff to attack, and that buff is really good. So yeah, that's why you see a lot of people run Bennett, is because he's really good for buffing a team. So yeah, like I said before, once you get more experience in this game, you gotta start looking at skills as one of the ways of building a team. So yeah, a team like this will work really well. Like you guys can use Bennett for his Pyro Affliction, and then use the Cryo Element characters to create the melt reaction to do even more damage. So Bennett right here with the attack buffs, and then these cryo characters with their melt reaction, this does a lot of damage. For the most part, when you guys see videos of characters doing a lot of damage, like characters doing 1,000,000 damage, it's usually because they run a team with characters that can buff other characters and debuff the enemy while also doing a reaction. Like those 3 things combined, along with food and stuff like that, that can make your characters do a lot of damage. So that's why team composition for the most part is really important, but at the same time not really. Like I said before, like you can pass basically all the content with any team you guys want. Like you guys don't really need to build a proper team in order to beat all the content in this game. The only time where team composition really matters is Abyss. Like that's basically the end game content in this game, so that's when it matters most. But even then, if you guys want to do a lot of damage or have a team that is like a lot of fun, team composition is where it's at. So another character right over here is Shenhe. So Shenhe right over here has a elemental burst where if you use that, she creates a field. Any enemies in that field get their cryo resistance decreased and physical resistance decreased as well. So yeah, that's why Shenhe is really good when it comes to running a cryo team. Her elemental burst basically decreases the enemy's cryo resistance, so that means that if you do a cryo elemental attack, you basically do a lot more damage than you usually would. Not only that, but her elemental skill increases your elemental burst damage and elemental skill damage, or it can increase your normal attack and charge attack. Yeah, Shenhe is really good for a cryo team. Same with how Bennett is good for like any team. So yeah, like I said before, once you get more experience in this game, you guys want to look at elemental skills and talents, all that stuff when building a team. But if you guys are new to this game, all of this will be very overwhelming. So yeah, I'll basically start off with a mono team or a 2 element team or a rainbow team instead of looking at character skills. Not only that, but you kind of have to build the character's talent and stuff like that in order to make the skills really good. And if you just started this game, you guys won't have any of the materials needed to upgrade their skills and talents, so it won't really be beneficial anyway. So yeah, for the most part, I'll try to take advantage of the elemental resonance, or try to build an all mono team, because that's way easier than trying to look at character skills and trying to build a team off of that. But generally, if you guys want to build a character off of skills, Bennett is one of the characters that's really good. So that's why you see Bennett in a lot of team compositions. So yeah, but like I said before, this game is really easy. So if you guys just started this game, honestly, like you guys can run any team you guys want. You guys can probably beat every single content with just a random team. So none of this stuff really matters until you get to the end game content in this game. So don't worry about team composition. Just play the game how you guys want to play it until you guys get to the end game content. But that's basically all I know when it comes to team composition in this game. Having played this game for 1 year, that's all the things I picked up on. Like, there's probably still a lot of stuff I don't know about. So if you guys are veterans in this game and you guys know any more team composition tips that I didn't talk about in this video, definitely let me know, because I'm really curious to know what other tips I'm missing, and I kind of want to learn more about team composition. But not only that, but it'd be really helpful for those who are watching this video. So yeah, it'd be really nice if you guys could drop some tips. But for the most part, I feel like I generally covered most of the things when it comes to team composition. But now that I explained everything, I kind of want to show you guys some examples of the teams I said before, like a mono team, a 2 elemental team, as well as a rainbow team, to show you guys how it works. So I'm gonna join into Abyss right over here. So I'm gonna run floor 9. So I'm gonna do this team in the first half, 2 cryo characters and 2 pyro characters for the elemental resonance as well as the melt reaction. I'll show you guys the difference between damages of a regular attack and then with a melt reaction. You guys will see the amount of damage I do increases. So, and for the second half, I'm gonna run a rainbow team. I have to run this one for the second half. So rainbow team, and then a 2-element team, and after that I'll run a all mono team. But anyways, I'll start off with showing you guys my regular attack damage. So right over here, I did 6k right there, right? Without any reaction. So now I'm gonna use Bennett. There we go. The enemy is now afflicted with Pyro. So now I'm going to use Eula's skill again. Boom, right there. Almost double the damage with the melt reaction. So that's why reaction in this game is so important. It basically almost doubled my damage right there. So right here, I'm gonna do it again. 6k damage with Eula's attack without any reaction. Now I'm gonna use... Oh, I gotta use Bennett twice. So do that. Hopefully he doesn't die. Alright, right now, afflicted with Pyro. Alright. 12k. Double the damage. So that's why reaction is so important, and it makes your characters so much stronger. But not only that, but the buff you get from Elemental Resonance definitely help increase my damage for sure for that team. But now I'm gonna run my Rainbow team, so I'll show you guys how my Rainbow team works. So riding right there to the skill, and now I'm gonna use my Traveler's Elemental Burst. Right there. Boom. We're riding skill. That did some extra damage right there. And I'm gonna use the Tau now. You guys will see riding skill like activating in the background when the Tau is attacking, causing the overload damage, and not only that, the vaporize with the water enemy. Like, that's really good. And then right there with the swirl, like this Rainbow team works really well together. I can do this and then inflict it with like Pyro or something, and then do Jean with her swirl. So yeah, this team is really good. Like, Rainbow teams for the most part are generally pretty decent, and you guys can pass basically all the content in this game. But it's not the best team you guys can run. But it still works. Like, when it comes to building a Rainbow team, you guys want to have characters that synergize well together. It definitely takes a little more thinking when it comes to running a Rainbow team, but even then it's not that much thinking. So you guys for the most part should be able to run a Rainbow team. Like, when you guys first start off this game, you guys are probably gonna have to run a Rainbow team because you guys don't have a lot of characters with the same elements. So Rainbow team and 2-element teams are basically the team you guys want to run when you guys first start off this game, because it's a lot easier to run those teams. But once you get a little more experience in this game, running a mono team is really good as well. So I'm gonna switch to my mono team and I'll show you guys how that works. So right now I'm running my mono team. So I have the Cryo Elemental Resonance, and like I said before, when it comes to running a mono team, one of the best things about this team is that you guys can spam and recharge your elemental burst a lot quicker. So I'm gonna use all my elemental burst just to get these out of the way, and after that I'll show you guys how quickly it recharges. So get rid of all these. Alright, so yeah, it's basically done. So right here I'll show you guys how quickly it charges. So right now everybody has like barely anything when it comes to elemental burst, you guys will see. So I'll show you guys. So I'm gonna do this. When it comes to running a mono team, you guys want to quickly spam your skill. Like, see all those elemental particles? Like the blue elemental particles? That is the Cryo elemental particles. So, boom. Ganya already has her elemental burst back. So, yeah, like, I just gotta do a couple more times. And get everybody. Look at that. Ayaka just got hers. Like, I can quickly spam all these skills because of the Cryo elemental particles. So look at this, like I can't even like use all my attacks quick enough. Like, it already recharged. So that's what's really good about a mono element team. So yeah, that's an example of what teams you guys can run in this game. So yeah, basically to summarize this video, you guys can run a whole bunch of different teams in this game. Some of the main popular teams in this game is like a Rainbow team, or a mono element team, or like a 2-element team that kind of works off of each other and create like different reactions. Those are generally the team people run, and for the most part are really good. But if you guys are new to this game, it's probably hard for you guys to run a mono element team, so I would try to run a Rainbow team and a 2-element team depending on what you guys want to run. But once you guys play this game a little more often and get more characters, you guys can run a mono element team. And once you guys get a little more experience in this game, you guys can start running teams based off of like skills and stuff like that, as well as running the other team I mentioned along with the skills. So yeah, when it comes to team composition in this game, for the most part it generally matters in the Abyss. It doesn't really matter when it comes to like events and like the world bosses. For the most part, you guys should be able to beat every single event and world boss without running a really good team. Like, I basically beat everything with a poopy team, so like it doesn't really matter. So honestly, just play this game how you guys want to play it. If you guys want to run a team with your favorite characters and it doesn't really work, or they don't synergize well, like it doesn't really matter. Like, just play a game how you guys want to play it. If that's what you want to do, then go for it. Like, you guys will probably beat every single content anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, when it comes to what team you guys want to run, it basically depends on what type of boss you guys are fighting, or what type of event you guys are fighting, and enemies. Some teams are better than others. There's some bosses where a mono element team is probably better than a rainbow team, or might be better than a 2 elemental team. Like, for example, I'm fighting like the Pyro Flower, I might want to bring, you know, a team of cryo characters instead of like a 2 elemental team or like a rainbow team, because since the Pyro Flower is a pyro enemy, having 4 cryo characters together would generate the melt reaction. Not only that, but help me build my cryo elemental particles a lot quicker. So when it comes to enemies like that, a mono team would probably be a little bit better. But if you guys want to run a 2 elemental team, like, that's fine too. But anyway, that's kind of about it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I answered most of you guys' questions. Like, this video is not scripted, so probably a lot of stuff I forgot. So if I forgot anything, definitely let me know in the comment section below. And also, if you guys have any more tips on team composition, definitely let me know as well, because I'm a noob at this game, so any tips I can get, the better. And not only that, but really helpful for those who are watching this video. So yeah, definitely leave a comment down below if you guys have any more tips. If you guys want more Genshin Impact videos, definitely hit the like and subscribe button. I do Genshin Impact videos every Saturday, so that's definitely time to check out my channel if you guys are interested. But I plan on doing more guides on this game, as well as more Spiral Abyss videos. And if you guys have any more ideas on what I can do in this game, definitely let me know. Like, I'm not sure if you guys want to see me do events and stuff, but if you guys do, maybe I might do some videos on events. Or maybe I'll do a video where I'm fighting some bosses and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely let me know what you guys want to see. But anyways, kind of about this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you guys later.